News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Only on News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. By the way, the number here in hour number 3, can you believe it, is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. We're definitely going to get into inflation now and everything that we're dealing with. This storm reminds me of how bad things are with prices when you look at every angle of it, but then also just groceries. I was talking to a friend of mine. She's in San Antonio, and she cannot believe how the prices are horrible compared to what they were. Like, her and her husband, there's just two of them, she said, and she had gastro sleeve, so she can't even eat too much. She's like, she went, and for them, she's like $136. She's like, what? I didn't get the price that she used to pay, but here's how it is for me. We used to budget, and it was budgeted because listen, since we don't overindulge 9 times out of 10, I usually set it what the average is. You know what I'm saying? I don't try to make it less. Cut back food. It's just ridiculous. As long as we're not overindulging, which we don't. We pretty much hold each other accountable fairly well. And my wife and I. But we went from $500 for a family of 4 to $800 for 2 weeks. $500 to $800 in 2 weeks. So that is $150 a week. That's $300 every 2 weeks. That's $600 a month. Does that sound about right for you for a family of 4? $600 a month extra from Joe Biden. That's our Joe Biden tax, at least. And then, so that's $6,000 every 10 months, which means that's 72. And unfortunately, Hungary never takes a holiday off. $7,200 a year tax from Joe Biden just on food. Just on groceries, not on eating out. And eating out was cheaper for a while, which was, pretty interesting. But then now it's, I think, just the same or worse. So you cannot get around this. And you got this president who's a liar. And he says, greed, flesh, greed, flesh, greed. Grocery price, greed. There's a lie going on that has 7 million followers on this Facebook leftist page. And then this is a story from thedispatch.com. I'll tweet it out in a minute, but viral post, Kroger's profit was up 35.5% from 22 to 23. Publix up 49% from 22 to 2023. That's why food prices are high. Great job plugging for plugs, Joe Biden. Not true. They rehashed the inflation the claim that inflation is by corporate greed and profits. However, that's not the case. It's inaccurate. Publix's net income plateaued in 2023. Kroger's decreased. Second of all, Publix net income went from $4.5 billion to $4.9 billion, or a 0.1% increase in 2023. They don't report a 49% increase in income. It's in its 2023 annual report, since it's a publicly traded company. This occurs only when an increase in the value of equity securities held by the company is included. The adjustment, when you have it's company, quote, excludes the impact of their fair value adjustments since it's primarily due to the equity market fluctuations, blah, 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 blah. Operating profit, which measure your net income, the Dispatch reports. Operating profit measures the net income made from a company's core business operations, gives an accurate picture. In 2023, their operating profit of but we'll round it up to $4.5 billion went down from 2022. So they lost a $250 million from 2022 to 2023. They're losing money in that year from 22 to 23, 2023 to 2022. I'm sorry, 2022 to 2023, they lost $250 million. They didn't make more money. That measures how much a profit businesses make on average per dollar sales. It decreased from 8.7% in 2022 to 7.8%. So they lost almost a full percentage point of average per dollar sales from 2022 to 2023. Publix credits inflation not as a cause of increased profits, but as a direct contributor to their decreased profitability. No. So absolutely not. That is that's just the opposite, as you can see there. The same thing is going on for the other company, for Kroger, they say. The decrease in gross profit is due to the impact of inflation and production costs, they say. Kroger has an even steeper loss. From 2022 to 2023, they recorded a 3.6% decrease in income, net income. They lost more than 3.5% of net income, a 25% decrease in operating profits for Kroger. They decreased profits by 25% from 2022 to 2023. Like Publix, they operate a profit as a percentage of sales also decreasing. So they lost percentage-wise and number-wise. Second of all, the grocery bills feel so high. Why? From Axios. This is a simple one. And by the way, I want to hear from you right now at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. How much have your grocery bills gone up every week? For me, that's $150 a week for my family. That's an unbelievable tax. For just groceries, that doesn't include gas. Gas is about $1.20 last time I checked. It might even be higher per gallon, $1.20 per gallon from when Biden took office to now, under Trump. And inflation, he lies, it obviously wasn't 9% when he took office. He's the one who, a year and a half later, got it up to 9.1%. It took him a year and a half to get it up, but he got it up well in inflation. And do you actually agree when Biden says grocery prices are high because of greed, which is a total lie? It's insulting. And what are the worst places you're feeling inflation at? Did you know your insurance before this storm went up 22.1% for your homeowners and for your auto? Just from last year, your insurance went up 22.1% on average for your insurance, for your home and your auto. 22% in 1 year. Joe Biden is destroying us. I can't believe the insurance payments I'm having. I have auto and home combined, over $500 a month. This is unthinkable. I think it was $250 or $350. I have no idea what it was before Joe Biden took office, because it never hit me that it was too big of a deal. It's insane now. So you and I are paying. I'm paying between 20 to I don't know, man, 20 to $50 a week in extra gas, 150 a week in extra groceries. God knows what in insurance. It's probably at least $200 a month more than it was last year, and it's affected us. We are not going on vacation to places. The only reason my wife and daughter are in Miami is because her father needs help. He keeps falling and he's elderly. He's in his 80s and it's getting close to him maybe not making another year or so. So I'm not going to say no to that. So our vacations are now regional, and even we do some at home now because it's just too much. You're not going to spend money on that when you need to save for your contingency fund that keeps going downward. And where are the worst places you're feeling it, and how's it affected your personal and your financial lives? What have you had to change? And we're going to actually go through everything, and my wife's looking at doing some more work now because we just can't do it anymore. It's not happening. Anyways, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. How is inflation affecting you? What are you changing differently? Where are you feeling it the worst? Also, coming up next, I can't wait to get into this. The National Institutes for Health actually has something good to say in a report. A brand new report. What is more effective to fight cancer? Chemotherapy or marriage? What literally helps fight cancer better? Chemotherapy or marriage? That's next. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I have some pretty amazing information. This comes in for the National Institutes of Health, and in this case, it has nothing to do with Dr. Fauci or the China virus or covering it up or everything and lying and cheating and stealing, etc. This is about the effects of marriage and what it does. Okay, this is from the NIH, and I'll quote this comment, and this comes in. It's on my Twitter feed. It's from Brad Wilcox, and he got this and reviewed it and pulled it out. I'll retweet it in just a sec, but he's a professor at UVA, and he has a book about getting married. It says, "Get married. Why Americans must defy the elites, forge strong families, and save civilization." I could not agree with him more on that. But this is pretty interesting. He says, truly astonishing research on marriage and cancer. Quote, and he's quoting the article from the National NIH, National Institutes for Health, and their research apparently. And I've got the research paper pulled up too, but here's what he highlights. For prostate, breast, colorectal, esophageal, and head and neck cancers, the survival benefit associated with marriage was larger than the published survival benefit of chemotherapy. Marriage fights cancer better than chemotherapy, according to the National Institutes for Health. And I am retweeting that right now. And it is on my Twitter feed, at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, CHRISKROK. I'll read some of the granular on this in a second. But here's my question for you. Do you actually believe this study? Do you actually believe that marriage has a better effect on fighting cancer than does chemo? Do you believe that? I do. And why? Why would you do that? How big of a deal, too? Here's the other thing. How big of a deal is it? How big of a deal do you consider your marriage to be for your health? How big of a deal do you consider your marriage to be for your health? Your mental health, your physical health, or both, or one of those? And then if you're not married, do you agree with these results? Do you actually agree this could be possible, or that this probably is right, that marriage is better than chemotherapy? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. By all means, you can tell me about your experience and why you think this is right or why this is wrong. Either way, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. I think it's totally true, and I totally believe it. I'm not astonished or terribly surprised. I'm a little bit surprised, but I'm not too much, because your mental health affects your physical health. And basically everybody admits that. Number two, your ability to be regulated in a proper way, typically. Sometimes you have a bad marriage that's in a partner that won't be any helpful and they're always attacking you. That's also more stressful probably, but you can get through it if you work hard like we did for 7 years in our marriage. And but I do believe that. And I just think of some fleeting moments before my wife left this week. A lot of bad moments. She was very unhappy with me for the last 24 hours before they left. But I always try to apologize, and usually it is my fault, but a lot of times it's her fault. No, I'm just kidding. It's usually my fault. But I don't ever want to live without her, and she holds me accountable when I don't want to be held accountable, and she hands me my butt when I need to have my butt handed to me. She protects me when I need protection. She tells me to grow up when I need to be told to grow up. including sometimes when I have a sob story. And she's like, then I grow up, dude, you're fine. And I'm like, oh, perspective. So usually when she tells me that, as long as it's not done in an insulting way, I can handle that. So, those fleeting moments, I realized that she's the critical glue. She's, and you need to realize this for your husband and your wife. They are your strongest asset you will ever have. Your wife or your husband is your strongest asset you will ever have. I unequivocally believe that the study is right. The National Institutes for Health says that the research says on marriage and cancer, prostate, breast, colorectal, esophageal, and head and neck cancers have a better survival rate associated with marriage, was larger than the published survival rate of benefit of chemotherapy. And if you're not married, do you think you could still see this being true? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. You're less likely to die as a result of the cancer after just demographics for stage treatment and demographic stage treatment than unmarried parents. It's associated remains significant with each individual cancer. When it was analyzed, they say the benefit associated with marriage was greater in males than females for all outcome measures. For prostate, breast, colorectal, esophageal, head and neck cancers, the survival benefit associated with marriage was larger than the published survival rate of chemo. That's insane. Published benefit. That's insane, but it's true, and I believe it. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. That is and I retweeted it on my Twitter feed. That's the Journal of Clinical Oncology. And that's amazing. And it's the National Institutes for Health Library of Medicine. So there you go. All right. Also, coming up next to the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93. This is going to be fun. Joe Biden took billions and billions of our dollars. And if you still want to comment on the marriage story, by all means, 800-288-9227, 800-288-WBAP. Skeptics are welcome to call in, too. Or maybe you're divorced and you're like, no, it was worse. But the White House launched a plan to build 500,000 EV chargers by the end of 2030. That's 4 years from right now. Through a $7.5 billion earmark in 2021. 3 years, how many chargers have been built? And Mayor Pete will tell you why that's great and everything's good. I've got audio. All that's next. I'm going to ask you about if you consider EV chargers, the amount there in 3 years, with all the money spent, if that's good progress. Do you support your tax dollars funding EV chargers? And have you bought an EV, and will you? That's next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Isn't that just sad and angering? The Valley View Fire Department said that they were under construction, so they had their sirens offline. There was no sirens. Wow, huh? You think they would have mentioned that to the people or, had an alternate plan figured out? I mean, what is this, podunk? Those poor 7 people. Watch for a lawsuit on that. Okay, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. What do you think about this study that was just released saying that research on marriage and cancer for prostate, breast, colorectal, esophageal, head and neck cancers, the survival benefit associated with marriage was larger than the published survival benefit of chemotherapy? I believe it. What do you say? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. That's 800-288-WBAP. Let's go to Rebecca in Richardson. Rebecca, you're on 820 AM and now on FM at 93.3. Hello.
Yes, hi, Chris.
Hi.
First-time listener, first-time caller. When I lost power yesterday, I got my little radio out.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Here we go. Welcome to the program. Appreciate you. Hello. Go ahead, please.
You're making me laugh.
Oh, that's good. You should laugh. That's good, especially after what you're going through right now, right?
Right. Exactly. And my power is luckily back on.
Good.
I have no internet or cable. So that's fun.
That's
so I'm
good.
back listening to you guys.
Thank you. So you're in Richardson, huh? How bad was it there?
It was pretty bad. I had to hide in the bathroom with my 2 puppies for about 2 hours.
Oh my gosh, we had to hide in there for a while, man. So I understand.
Yeah, the reason for my call is the cancer versus marriage discussion. Mm-hmm. And I'm probably going to get a little upset.
And that's okay.
But, I'll do my best. I was married for 20 years. My husband died of a heart attack. And then a couple of years after that, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Although I believe in my head I'm still married because we didn't get divorced. Yeah, and so I think the theory might be true to a point because he wasn't my support system anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, because you actually think that's why. Why do you think he was so important to your health? Because
we barely fought. We always communicated. We were very, happy and loving, and it was the best relationship I've ever had. And so I do equate and believe, like you do, that marriage is very crucial to, a diagnosis.
I agree, and I have a sweet woman in my Sunday school class, and she lost her husband about 4, 5, 6 years ago. Suddenly, unexpectedly. She's younger. She's got to be in her 50s still. She's not older. And, not in her 60s or 70s. And she is just like you in that regard. And she's a real sweet woman. And, every year around the anniversary, she is really choking up. And we all really care for her with that and encourage her and pray for her with that.
Yeah, my 10-year anniversary of my husband's death is June 9th.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So, yeah, and I always take the day off from work.
Okay.
I just can't handle, the emotions.
That's okay. Listen, do you have something planned? There's a way that maybe you could have a friend or family member with and do something that would memorialize your husband in a good way and help you to maybe have some joy?
Well, I always do. Yeah, I always do that. Get together with friends, maybe for a lunch and some reminiscence or something. But I decided not to do chemo, and I'm doing some drug therapy.
Okay. How long has it been since you were diagnosed?
About 2 years. Wow. And my cancer cells are shrinking.
Good.
Just by the use of the drugs, and I'm so excited for all the new technology that's out there in the world today to help people, who are going through a tough diagnosis.
What's your diagnosis again? I apologize for cancer.
That's okay, breast cancer.
Breast, okay. Have you had to have any removal yet? I hope not, but if you have, it is what it is.
No, because I have not spoken with the surgeon who all she wanted to do was rip my breast off. And I said, screw that. I'm going to go with the drugs. And so far, so good. And I'm in good spirits. I have a lot of family and friends to support, but just not my wonderful husband.
I've had a little policy, a little personal opinion here that I've been really against breast implants at all. Except one of my big exceptions is, breast cancer or just personally. It doesn't mean my rule matters to anybody else. I'm just saying for me.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of breast implants.
Breast cancer.
Why cut yourself?
Yes, breast cancer, or if you have reconstructive surgery because you had a horrible accident where something got removed from you physically for force. Other than that, I've always been like, man, you need to see somebody. You need God, and you need a psychiatrist to help you, because it is not you have something wrong in your heart or your head or both to want to...
You could have that body morph disease.
Yeah, here's the thing. I just think it's like you feel inadequate or you want more attention, and so you think that'll give you more attention to make you feel more valued, and that's the wrong way to handle that problem. To
your back's just going to hurt.
Well, that's true, too, depending on which way you go. They'll go, I just want to go one little cup size. It's still not right to me. It's like, come on. That doesn't matter. And guess what? By doing that crap, you attract the wrong person. And if you're doing that to try to keep your husband interested in you, then you have a serious problem in the marriage, and you need to get serious counseling on you and then together to fix that, because ain't no surgery you're going to do nothing. In fact, if anything, you'll push him away. What's wrong with this woman? She wants to cut her breastises off to keep me. You're going to repel the guy.
I'll share something with you.
Okay.
My husband was an ass man because I have very small B's, and he didn't care.
Wow.
Yeah, it was lovely.
I'm going to tell you something. This is a little out there, but for the program. But I'm going to tell you something. You are a married woman talking about your husband, and God bless the men who have their wives who go this way, the other ones who go that way. As long as they like one of them and the package that it's on, or at least the package it comes in. That's all that matters. So God bless your husband. God bless you. And may God bless, I try to say this nicely. I'm a married man. You're a married woman still in your heart. Your booty. God bless you. Take care. All right. Hugs and love from over here. Hey, no booty cancer. You're doing great. Yes, my son's joke all the time is, my son since he was 13, he's like, his joke is he has the A word cancer, and then he's like, how you doing? Oh, it's just that punk, the irreverent teenage kid to his friends or to his father at the house being stupid and silly and trying to make me laugh. Or offend me. Yeah, I got stage 4, A word cancer. I don't think I'm going to make it past this week, but other than that, I'm doing great. Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. So then I'll ask him out of nowhere, how's that cancer doing over there with that rump of yours? How's that doing? Is that going okay? Oh, it's not good, Dad. I got stage 5 now. It's not good. Oh, Dad, I got stage 8. It's prognosis bad. Not going to make it till tomorrow, but other than that, I'm doing fine. Get out of here. Although that's good. You got to be a stupid, silly son. Okay, coming up next. By the way, you can still call on that 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. But also, you have to hear Mayor Pete saying they're doing a great job with the electric vehicle charging stations. Wait till you hear for the, $7.5 billion that they earmarked in 2021, claiming it was going to build 500,000 EV chargers, how many they have right now, and how many chargers there are over the country, and the reaction to the fake news CBS host Margaret Brennan how she audibly laughs when Mayor Pete gives this answer with a straight face. That's next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Well, I've got an interesting little thing for you here. The Biden administration shoved through this pathetic EV charger mandate, and they took $7.5 billion of our taxpayer dollars and promised that they would use that to build 500,000 EV chargers by the end of 2030. Think of that, guys. 6 years from right now, they're supposed to have 500,000 chargers for EVs. Do you actually think they're going to do that? With $7.5 billion and now 3 years later, how many charging stations do you think they've created? Producer Garrett, how many charging stations? They took $7.5 billion of our money. They said they would have 500,000 chargers by 2030. Okay. 3 years now, $7.5 billion. How many chargers do you think they've made when the goal is 500,000 within 6 years from right now? You had 3 years so far. Okay, he guesses it was 70, right? You're guessing that because you heard something, right? I wish it was 70. The Biden administration wishes it was 70. It is, are you ready for this? It is 8. 8 is how many? It's like Plinko, very close, just one notch off. So close, like Hillary in the election in 2016. Oh, you're so close. You almost had it. You know that guy with the lure from the commercials? Oh, you're so close. The meme. I got that. I did that meme, and I did that for Hillary when that happened. It was great. She was looking up trying to grab it, and the little guy's like, oh, you're so close. Oh. 8 charges have been built in 3 years with $7.5 billion spent. And right now, I'll give you some more details. What's funnier is when you hear Mayor Pete try to explain this, and he has a straight face, and CBS Margaret Brennan literally audibly laughs. Okay, here we go.
The Federal Highway Administration says only 7 or 8 charging stations have been produced with a $7.5 billion investment that taxpayers made back in 2021. Why isn't that happening more quickly?
So the president's goal is to have 500,000 chargers up by the end of this decade. Now, in order to do a charger, it's more than just plunking a small device into the ground. There's utility work, and this is also really a new category of federal investment. But we've been working with each of the 50 states. Every one of them is getting formula dollars to do this work, engaging them. And the first handful, again, by 2030, 500,000 chargers. And the very first handful of chargers are now already being physically built.
Oh, he's so excited. He has a straight face. He doesn't laugh or smile or get embarrassed or blush. Oh, hey, didn't you know I check off all the boxes? I've got all the diversity stuff. Hey, I'm Mayor Pete. I can't do anything wrong. Look at me. Only a conceited, blowhard, lying fool like Mayor Pete would literally say that with a straight face confidently he's apparently as if he's serious. I don't know if he is or not. I don't care. He's got a great little, what are you talking about? What's wrong with you face? Like, of course. Okay, so the White House is currently trying to, as you know, actively working hard to phase out gas vehicles in favor of EVs. I'm going to give you some more details on this, but here's my question for you on this. At 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Do you consider 8 EV chargers in 3 years? You think that's a success when Biden said he's building 500,000 by 2030? Do you think that's a success? 8 in 3 years? That's an average of less than 3 per year. That's an average of about less than 3 per 4 months. That's less than 3 for every 4 months. No. Yeah, that's right. It's less than 3 per 4. It's like 3. It's like 2.8 every 3 months or 2.5 every 3 months. That's not even 1.5. Well, it's not even 1.5 per month. Wow. Is that a success to you? And do you support your tax dollars being funded with this program? And here's the big one I can't wait to hear from you on. Have you bought an EV? Have you bought an EV yet, and will you? 800-288-9227, 800-288-WBAP. I know it seems like EVs, I shouldn't say EVs, Teslas, really. There's other ones I know. And it's hard to tell on some of them. Like, I actually just by habit, I'm like, is there a muffler there? But I still don't want one. Some of them look cool, but I don't want one. Oh my gosh, the people, the godforsaken Mustang Mach-E, that is, to me, that's a joke. Especially after what I've seen on and off over the years about it. And then the Tesla's the only one that's pretty mainstream, I'd say. However, that thing is... could be up to $25,000 what I've heard for that battery, and you have to replace it every 5 years. I mean, think of the worst amount of repairs that you and I have ever spent on a car. Maybe $2-3 a month, a year. Maybe $2-3 a year plus maybe $5,000 1 year because you got the royal bone on something, a transmission. I don't know. I'm just making numbers up. Let's say it's $3,000 a year for 4 years, and then the 5th year it's $5,000. What is that? 15. 20 in 4 years. That's obviously way past what any of us usually pay for any auto, we call it gas repairs. But that's still less than the $25,000 that could be for your Tesla battery. I mean, it's not even a match. Plus, you'll be paying $10,000 to $20,000 more for the same car from gas to that. So you're going to end up losing between 10 and in my opinion, 10 to 20 grand, 10 to 30 grand every 5 years. There's no way I'm interested in that. It doesn't save the environment. It burns more fossil fuel, which is what powers our grid. And the grid's going to be overloaded, and we're going to have more brownouts and blackouts because of the stupid EVs that most people don't want to buy. Closing this off a little bit, our number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. They're phasing out gas, even though nobody wants to phase out gas. In order to have this occur, though, 134 million EV chargers. 134 million would need to be built. 134 million for everybody to have EVs. Currently, there's less than 190,000 all over the country right now, and only 8 from Joe Biden. So there you go. That's why CBS laughed audibly. Margaret Brennan, who probably loves her some Biden and Mayor Pete, but that's a joke. All right, unfortunately, it's our joke.